Welcome back to the Next Average Podcast, the Shelby Nick Average Podcast, or as we like to call it, Aw Snap. I am Nick.
I am Shelby.
And we welcome you guys back for this installment. Today's Tuesday, April 30th, the last day of April. And here we are.
April showers bring May flowers, baby.
And it is time. Things are booming in the sports world right now. NBA playoffs going on. The NFL draft happens. And don't you guys worry. We're gonna give our thoughts to both of those things.
And prayers. If you are a certain team that, spent a lot of money on a quarterback just to draft a quarterback. Thoughts and prayers are out to the fans of that team.
But before we get to that, we like to start the show off with something else. With a little, how you doing? So Shelby, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It was storming like a big old storm up here. It was storming pretty good. And, now the sun's out. The yard went from looking like a jungle to absolutely untamed now. So that's great. Haven't had a chance to mow yet. And, yeah, Mother Nature really rubbed in my face and made me remember to mow next week. So that's great. But other than that, how you doing, boo-boo?
Like you said, it's been storming up there. I got a chance to go and visit my parents last weekend. That was awesome, as always.
Shout out to your girlfriend for doing a great show.
Yeah, I went and visited my parents. I went and saw my girlfriend's choir show. Shout out her once again. Absolutely phenomenal show. She did great. There were some solos in there.
The people, I was like, the motherfuckers that was dancing with her, though. Lucky didn't even get the pause on them, dude.
They're lucky I didn't see them after the show.
Facts, dude. We were waiting. there with baseball bats, just ready to collapse a lung and turn their knees into flamingo knees.
Exactly. And I was getting all riled up in my seat, Couldn't sit back anymore.
It was so funny. So we were sitting right next to each other, and every single time, which it wasn't a lot. Like, I don't want to make it. It was like 3, maybe 4 times. But every single time someone went to dance with her, we would look at each other and, like, sit up in our seats.
Now, obviously, this is all front. I'm not one to make a joke in my own head and then get upset about it. So,
yeah, especially when like, you keep saying it doesn't bother you, and then your words mean nothing because of your reactions to every little thing that happened. Says the otherwise.
But especially because I was in choir. I understand how it is. I understand that sometimes you're forced to dance with people, even if,
I would say, wasn't that how you guys met?
That is how we met, actually. So I can't get too upset. I mean, I can't get upset because I don't want her to meet someone else like that. But
only me.
But I kind of understand, the whole showbiz thing. I get it. I spent 6 years in choir. I know my way around a stage. I know. I kept joking because she was telling me joking with me before, or she was telling me beforehand that the concert is at our old high school, and that we were, and that she had to dance with someone. So I was joking, saying that I was gonna be like Phantom of the Opera because I know that stage very well. That I was gonna go up there, break the kneecaps of whoever touched her, and then
join in.
Poof, disappear.
I think it'd be funnier if like she goes and turns around and it's you like in the dude's suit and all that trying to dance. It's like, what did you do with Andrew? You're like, what are you talking about?
He's
I
backstage, just
am
like,
Andrew. It's just like a folded mess, like the exorcism. You know how they always get like all contorted and shit? It's like that, just right underneath the riser.
It's just you're just doing nothing but making eye contact with her and the conductor, like in the teacher of the class, because the teacher knows something wrong, but it's already mid-song, so you're like, what?
Oh yeah. So he's like still like moving the sticks around to like orchestrate the band and
But
all
he's
that.
just
And
staring at you.
it just sees his one of his choir students just got grabbed by the ankle and just taken down as if he's like the Kraken or something.
The best part is that like they would be on risers too, so it would like
Oh.
I would be completely hidden from the crowd, but people in the choir could see me, so it would just be hands coming up and grabbing somebody's ankles,
Oh god,
and
dude,
they just
that's
tearing him
terrifying.
off the stage.
Have you ever seen Harry Potter? The I want to say the Half-Blood Prince or whichever one Dumbledore has to drink the water from.
I have not. I never really got into Harry
No.
Potter.
What? Really, dude? Oh, I need another Harry Potter weekend. I love those movies.
Yeah, my
But there's a
mom
scene in
likes it.
there where everyone's like there's like some demons or whatever's that live at the bottom of this water uh that Dumbledore has to drink from, and like Harry tries to step on top of the water, and like a bunch of hands just come up to grab Harry. That's why I imagine the underneath to see a bunch of hands.
But the bunch of hands are just me and you coming to absolutely
Yeah.
flog this guy behind the stage.
Oh god. Yeah. Just
It
absolutely
was
fold him up like a pretzel. Be great.
the show was very good. Like I said, she did amazing. There were a couple solos in there that were questionable, but
Mm.
she did very good.
I'm sure you
She was
two
very
already talked
pleased
about
with.
that, so.
Yes, we did.
That's one of my favorite things about me and my girlfriend is like we'll experience something together, and then speaking of that, we can talk about the experience. We'll experience something, and then on the way home in the car, we just like talk about the experience, and her and I are almost always on the same page. So it was just us like shitting on whatever happens for like
Yeah.
30 minutes on the way home.
So I saw a TikTok. I don't remember who's it from. If I remember correctly, it's from the group You Betcha, which hilarious group. Love them.
Love them. Come to the podcast, Miles.
Please.
Come on.
But like just a bunch of Midwesterners, very hilarious. And they said that every successful relationship has the pre-briefing where like before an event you guys sit like you don't necessarily
it's like,
sit
hey,
but, like,
watch
on the
out
car
for
ride,
blank.
like on the car ride over you guys talk about like what you guys are going to expect or what's going to happen and whatnot. Then you get to the actual place where like maybe it's a hangout or whatnot and something happens and you make like eye contact, like the side eye contact, like we're talking about that later.
Yep, it's like a bookmark. That's what I imagine. It's like just like
Essentially.
okay,
It's a mental
like
bookmark.
we both it's like we both know that like seeing this, right? Okay, cool.
It's essentially both of us going noted.
Yeah, literally.
You either
Literally.
get the side eye contact, you get a little tap of the leg, something like that, and then it's the post briefing, or I like to call it the post game. Because it's like the ride home or like the 30 minutes after where you just get to sit down and maybe the ride home and maybe 30 minutes after the ride home where you just like sit down and you talk about everything that you like noted or like what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And those post briefings or post games are amazing.
Dude, because there's so much energy. It's like, oh my god, did you see Frank?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. What the hell is wrong with him? You know, it's just so much. Because it's like building up. You're like, oh, dude, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to bring up these points, these points, these points. Of course, she's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so it's just one giant ball of like, you know, insert time here. Let's say 45 minutes of just thinking about like, what the hell am I gonna say in the car?
It is
It is
great. So
great.
yes, after the concert, me and her had our little post briefing of the concert. It
Awesome.
was mainly me talking about the concert and her talking about everybody in the concert because we go to different colleges. So like I don't know the people, I just have opinions on the songs and whatnot. So it'd just be like, oh
Yep.
yeah, like that song was and she'd be like, oh yeah, that person who sings it is like a total B word. And I'd be like, oh yeah, well that's good because this I was trying to be nice. The song sucked.
Yeah. What was your favorite song of it then?
My
I
favorite
like the like
song,
rapping one.
the rapping one was good, but the "Blame It on the
Oh,
Boogie" from Jackson 5.
yeah. Oh, actually, I take that back. Whichever one was like the first solo, like her voice was incredible. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember the song, but it was like I was like shocked. I was like, "Oh damn!" But like I think that may be the difference between like high school because I'd never been to a college show. Like that's my first one, and so going from like a high school to college, that may just be the increase. So I'm really excited because like when your parents went to the opera or whatever, like just seeing how insanely good those people are compared to the college people.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like
it's a
I want to
different
see the
step up.
levels.
It's the same thing of going from like a high school athlete to a college athlete, you know?
Right, right. I think it was like baseball. Like there's college baseball and then there's like the what the hell is it called? Like the not major leagues, but the one right below it. It's called
Double A,
something like
triple A,
double A, yeah, whatever A it is like
whichever
that,
type of battery they want
where
to be.
exactly. Yeah, if they would be 9 volts, they could be 9 volts. So the 9 volt league, is like the collection of the really good high or college players that just aren't enough to make it to the pros. And like that's insane level as it is, but then the pros is even more.
Yeah.
So I'll be excited to go to like a bigger one of those because of course I've been to concerts, but it's like artists that I already like, and the artist that I like isn't the one that sings like opera-ish. They don't really get to showcase the all the different pitches they can do and all that. They can't stick to their own realm.
Yes.
Do
So
you ever
what?
miss choir?
Uh, not really. I miss swimming
Mm,
a lot, but I don't miss choir because I mean, I kind of just have a different stage essentially. Like I went from choir to
that's true.
broadcasting, and so I mean, it's kind of the same adrenaline kick of having that crowd or that audience. And so yeah, I don't necessarily. I mean, there are the experiences that you get in choir and the people that you meet and whatnot. I'll always miss that, but I don't necessarily miss choir as a whole very much.
Okay. I would always, I don't know, I was always wondering. I was like, I wonder if he like misses it or something because it was such a big part of your life early on.
It was a very big part, but like I said, it's the same type of adrenaline that you get from choir is the same type of adrenaline you get when broadcasting. Because I mean, all the
Right.
practice that you put in just turns into research, and then going up on stage is just putting the headset on to talk, and it's the same essentially.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I never thought of it.
That's why I was very thankful for my choir experience for that reason.
Oh yeah, I think it. So you were always like the more open one, I guess, compared to the rest of your family. You're the one that was okay with being in front of people and talking like that. But
Yeah.
I definitely feel like that kind of got you out of your shell. Like I had the same experience with marketing when I was in high school. Like I was, I could talk to people, but I wasn't very big. Like go up to a random guy and talk. Well, in marketing, we would have these like bunch of these conferences that like you will compete in your one thing. And like my first thing was sports media. And so like for instance, I had to like come up with the sporting advertising plan kind of thing, for a like a small league baseball. that was in my league, and like I had to come up with different strategies and to like come up with something. And, like they give you the numbers, like okay, so this is da 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 da. You have a budget of 15,000, the 13,000 for TV, and then kind of like that. And I came up with a pretty good plan, but you can come up with a good plan, but if you can't broadcast that plan, if you can't, you know, talk about it very well, then they don't know. And my first event, I actually ended up getting second, and I feel like that really put off like a good like feel. I can
Hmm.
learn a lot from that experience that I carry on to like to this day. Like when I'm doing my own job, it's like I can talk to people very easily. I can sell things pretty well. Just stuff like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, because I mean, I get what you're saying. The different things, especially having success early on, kind of helped as well. Because, like you said, your first ever
Hmm.
thing was, you got second in your first ever competition. And it's the same
Hmm.
thing with choir. Like, I didn't take it necessarily really seriously in sixth grade, but that's just because that was the whole. I mean, a sixth grade boy is all raw, raw testosterone. I'm not doing girly
Well,
choir.
I would say that's like the cool thing to do is to like not try
Yeah.
when you're young like that.
But then in seventh grade, when I actually started trying in choir, um, and I got into honor choir, which was big because
Hmm.
honor choir middle school was like this separate choir, like away from the classroom, where like it was hand selected by the teacher and stuff like that. So that was kind of my early success as well. And then even in eighth grade, I went to a competition where they graded you on a scale of 1 to 5, one being the best, and I was expecting maybe a 2 or a 3, not too well. Like I practiced the song a little bit outside of class, but like not enough to where I was really like it would be
Confident
gut
in it.
wrenching if it wasn't a one. Like if it wasn't a one, I'd still
Okay.
be like, aw, but it wouldn't like destroy me. And I had to sing the song in front of a judge, and then wait like 15 minutes before I got my score. So like that 15 minutes
Oh,
is all
dude.
just sitting there in your head, like I think I did good. I think I did really well in the song, but I mean I could have done this better. I could. Oh, I don't know if I messed up on this part. Like, oh, what is it? What is gonna happen?
Hmm.
And then you go out to the whiteboard, and I saw a one next to my name, and I was ecstatic. And I even like my mom was telling, because my mom drove me to the competition and home from the competition, and she told me on the ride home, and she told my dad as well, that like she was preparing for like a "it's okay that you didn't get a one" type speech, and that like
Yeah.
even because like not necessarily for how I performed, but because she also didn't know the scale and stuff like that. But so
Right.
it's
Well,
just very funny to me that like it's that the early and that early success kind of like helped me be like try harder and be better.
oh yeah, because when you first try something, there's always that I think I can do good. I think I can, but it's like it's still like in the back of your head. It's still like, there's so much better people, or there's no chance I can do it. And then, sure enough, you do it. It's like, oh, okay. If I just apply myself just a little bit more and take this a little bit
Exactly.
more serious, like I can do shit here.
Yeah.
Like I mean, hell, you saw on the circuit. It was like first day, okay, cool. Second day, and then the third day I locked in.
Yeah.
Like it's just once you have that taste, you get addicted off. Like, oh hell yeah, then like your competitive nature just comes out, and you're like,
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
win this thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be one of the best choir or people in my choir. Insert whatever here. I'm gonna be the best swimmer, basketball player, football, whatever it is. It's just once you had that little taste, then you want the whole thing.
Yeah. And so this whole tangent started because my girlfriend had a very good choir concert, and our little post brief that we had happened on the drive to where we went to eat after. Now I bring this up because me and Shelby, we have to talk about this.
Dude.
We ate at an IHOP because her choir concert got out late. It was like maybe 9:45, 10 o'clock before we even left the high school. And so we went to IHOP, got our breakfast on, and that whole experience felt like one giant fever dream.
So, especially because how late you think of it? It was probably like 9:30, 10, somewhere around there when the thing got over. So, like, typically sober people aren't the ones getting breakfast at that time. It just IHOP's one of those. It's like just all reliable for drunk people. And so we went there, and what's funny is your dad made. So there's two IHOPs that was near us. One, we're gonna call it the Sam's. By Sam's, whatever. He was like, no, I don't go to that one. I had bad experience with that one, all this. So he was so up in arms about going to this one instead. The one that just floored us. Just floored us.
Yep.
So I want to start this by like, we were all, because there was what, six of us? Two, yeah, there were six of us. And so we walked in and was waiting to get seated. We got sat and all that. And this this woman comes up, and when you can like look at someone and not all the lights are on, kind of thing. It was kind of like that, where she just had a very blank stare, and she asked us what she wants to drink. Very normal. And so you said Dr. Pepper, and she was just staring into your soul. Like, she was one that, like, if looks could kill. So she was just staring at you.
That was the thing that like scared me at first, because it was one of the few times I didn't get a Dr. Pepper. It was IHOP. I was breakfast.
That's right.
So she came up and was like, what do you guys want to drink? We have water, apple juice, orange juice, and different sodas. And I said, can I get a large chocolate milk? And she just stared at me. And my first reaction was like, do they not have chocolate milk anymore? Did I mess up? Like,
maybe
is something wrong?
My thought,
and then she just started nodding. Like, she didn't say yes, she didn't say no. She just like nodded at me, still making eye contact. Like, I swear to God, the eye contact lasted for like 7 seconds.
Oh, easy. Because we didn't really know what was going on. And like, so you're right. I was thinking about my girlfriend that got Dr. Pepper. So when you said large chocolate milk, I was even thinking to myself, like, oh, I didn't know they had sizes. So I wonder if that's what she's like, and she just had everything organized by like first letters. And so when you said large chocolate milk, she couldn't find the chocolate milk in her head, And she's like, she's like just flipping through it. She's flipping through her little notes back there. It's like, I don't see large chocolate milk. There's chocolate milks, but not large.
Yeah, so like I asked for a large chocolate milk, and then she stared at me enough to where I got uncomfortable and just started staring at my dad to like motion to her like, go next.
Come on, he's next.
Yeah, he's next. Come on, just stop staring at me, please.
Yeah.
And that just happened for each and every person. It was so weird.
So, like, eye contact makes me a little uncomfortable. Like, honestly, I hardly ever really make eye contact with people, just because, like, I don't want to be the one that just stares. Especially when it's, like, someone ordering. Like, I'll look up and, like, I'll look at them. But, like, usually I'm, like, looking at their notepad or, I'm not, like, staring in their eyes. Yeah. And so because it went you, your dad, your mom, my girlfriend, me. So by then, I knew the deal. I knew what was going to go on. I knew the looks. And so I just said, I looked up and said, and I looked at Eddie, I looked at your dad and said, yeah, I'll do a Sprite. And nothing was said. Like you said, she doesn't say okay. She's like, oh yeah. that's fine, or nothing. Nothing was said. And then it like took 5 or 6 seconds for the next one to go. And so by then I looked up at her and she's just staring right at me. So she wasn't even staring at my eyes. She was just like staring like what would be my eyes,
She
just
was
waiting for me.
she was trying to see who you are as a person, trying to get into your
I
soul.
do, I guess. And so she left, and then of course we had this little powwow amongst us. It's like, what? I was like, that was a little weird. Okay, like whatever. And it just it just got worse and worse. I mean, like anytime we're with the family, especially with Nick's family, it's just a blast. I mean, his dad is
Yeah,
like accidentally
he's
super funny.
so funny, but like it's I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just like his
There's no way.
curiosity and like just the things that go on in his head. Like he
I think
doesn't
it's
sit
his
there
curiosity
and try to
and
think
his
like,
like
oh, this will
lack
be a
of
good joke. I don't think he ever thinks, oh, this will be a good joke. But he just says something and then it just like or like questions something and it's just like the funniest thing ever.
hmm But it's like the curiosity of your dad and like the lack of knowing pop culture. Because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but but Sonic the Hedgehog is a big hit at IHOP right now.
So
There's
it's the
like meals
mascot
and
so
stuff.
far. Yeah, it's like the monthly like
Yeah,
gimmick thing.
right, yeah. And so like they're like that's what's happening now. And of course, it'd be like the Tails, which is the 2x2x2, which is a normal meal, but it's Tails version of it, which I think there should be like little variants, but whatever. And so we got on the topic of like there's a new character because like I said, Nick's mom and dad is very old school. They're older, they're like mid 40s, and so they don't know like all the new characters of Sonic. And there's quite a bit of characters now. It's not just Sonic the Hedgehog like it used to be. There's Sonic, there's Tails, there's this girl in particular. Do you remember the name of her?
Amy.
Amy. Your
Amy was
dad's
the one
like,
that we
who?
saw, and because
He's
like
like,
all
who the
six of
hell is
us at the
Amy?
table, as I say, all six of us at the table were like I know that we're not like big Sonic fans, but I mean we've played Sonic games. But I was like, who is Amy?
Yeah, yeah. And so, we looked up and it turns out, like which I knew Tails was a fox, but I guess this one's a cat and like there's a bunch of different animals. So then we go on the topic of Knuckles. And Nick, can you say the animal's name of what Knuckles is?
I believe it's an echidna.
Echidna. So, in case you guys are wondering, echidnas are one of the weirdest looking creatures
For
I
those
have
of
ever
you
seen in my life.
For those of you who have access to the internet and want to look it up, I believe it's spelled Echidna.
Yeah, just do yourself a favor, looked it up because I did. I looked it up because my girlfriend, she's like a trivia whiz, dude. She's so smart, and she knew what Knuckles was. And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's this animal." One, how the hell do you know this? And two, I'm like, okay, like I wasn't like gonna fact check her, but I'm like, I've never seen this animal. Like a hedgehog, it kind of looks like Sonic, I guess. Kind of like very loosely. So I was wondering if it's the same thing for Knuckles. So I looked it up, and there's like three different variants of these damn things because like they either have porcupine or they're like the quills. They have quills, which is like okay, hedgehog, relates. And then there's like completely bald ones, and then ones with like hair. So I don't understand what like where it was. And so, of course, long story short, those things were being compared to a body part that I'm sure you guys can
A
assume.
male private part, a male private
Yes,
body
a
part.
male's yes. And so, of course, we start laughing about that, and then by that time, the waitress comes by, and mind you, the food is taking forever, right? And so, or the
Because this was
like
after
just her coming back.
we ordered as well, and I would just like, because we all ordered, I mean, fairly normal things at IHOP, just like the breakfast sampler and the 2x2x2. Like, it was still taking
Yeah.
her a long time to process it. And then you have to go and say, "Can I get the tails 2x2x2?" And
Well,
I think it's the same thing. Like I think she knew what the 2x2x2 was, but because you
but she
said
didn't know what the tails was
I
about.
was gonna say,
She's
but
like,
I
what the
think
hell?
because you put tails in front of it, it took her a little bit longer to like register what was going on.
Very well could have. Very well could have. And so of course, after the like 4 minutes of ordering, and not because it was our decision, but because she just had to had to had to burn our images into her eyes. She got her order, then left. It took forever for our food to get here, like forever. And so when it finally does, this is when stuff goes from like okay, just uncomfy to like like goofy.
Weird. Yeah, to plain
Yeah,
fever
just
dream.
yeah, just goofy. I know you guys are like, okay, you guys talked about Knuckles and got stared at. All right. No, this is when it gets so stupid. So she was on top of it, on top of our drinks, right? And so my girlfriend got Dr. Pepper. By this time, she probably had about 3 glasses of Dr. Pepper, and not because she's drinking them. Like she probably had like maybe a cup and a quarter collectively between the three. It's just the second she gets to like half, she just brings out another one, and then I would be like completely empty in my cup. She will get another cup, and then she'll come back later and then give me one. And so for whatever reason, she was just on top of my girlfriend's drinks like no other. And the the food arrived. Was there anything weird?
So, like you said, with the drinks, it got to the point to where Shelby's girlfriend literally had 3 cups of liquid in front of her. She had like a half drinking Dr. Pepper and 2 full ones all right in front of her. And then the food gets to us, and we stop talking because we're all hungry. Like we didn't eat beforehand, and this is like 10 o'clock, 10 or 11 o'clock at night at this point. So we're all
Mm-hmm.
scarfing it down, and then out of the like not the corner of our eye, but like we all hear because the way that this IHOP is set up is there's tables, but around the table is like a big um what's the word, like wall to kind of
Like
shield
half
off
wall.
from
Yeah.
where the like server station is and the kitchen and whatnot. But so we're all eating, and then we just hear this like old lady voice go, "Yeah, I like to be choked."
Yeah, I like to be choked. So,
And
so of
right
course, your
there,
dad being you, or your dad being him, his face of like he was mid bite and like looked up like what the
well, like
hell?
that's the thing. All
So
6 of us stop eating and like look up simultaneously. Like, what did we just hear? And
so
then,
of course your
without missing a
dad is
beat,
like
and with hold on, real quick, just without missing a
yeah.
beat, while we're all sitting there thinking like, what did we just hear? She then goes like, she then repeats it like the yeah, I like to be choked, and then I'll have him clean the windows after. We don't know what that second part means. One can only assume.
Put in the comments what you think. No, don't do
But
that.
we're all sitting there
Don't do
like,
that.
what are we listening to right now? And then I look over and my dad is halfway out of his seat. It's like he's like a little kid trying to peek over the wall to like see who's saying what is going on. So like he's doing like a half wall sit essentially, where like he's hovering above his chair, trying to get his eyes over this half wall, and he sits down and he goes, I wasn't able to see who it was. And then he does it again. Like he maybe waits like 2 or 3 minutes, and then curiosity just absolutely eats him from the inside. So he checks again. Once again, unsuccessful. Sits back down, tells the group I wasn't able to spot her. A couple minutes go by, maybe 5 or 10. He hears that voice again, no hesitation. immediately starts to like look over that half wall again, like a little kid, like half sitting, hovering above his seat, and he sits down with just a pure look of shock. Because he's like, oh my God, that's not who you would expect. You know, we were all listening to like an old lady. It is not. It is a lady like in her 30s, like a heavy set lady in her 30s. And we're just like, what?
With green hair, September. Yeah, it was a, okay. But the best thing is the fact that your dad's built like a goddamn ape. Nick's dad's a big dude. And so just seeing this dude with the bald head just
For
peeking
reference,
over,
I think
obviously.
he's 5'11". I want to say he lost some weight down to 230, maybe 240, something like that. So like that's just a reference, and it's like it's not all muscle. He has some muscle, but like he also enjoys his food and his beers.
Yeah. So he just seeing this, like Nick said, a little kid, just little kid in a mid-40s ape-looking body, just peeking over the ledge was priceless. Was so funny.
I like to think of him as a big-bellied gorilla. That's the best way to describe him in my mind. If you've never seen him, as a red-headed, big-bellied gorilla, bald too.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
gotta
can.
add the bald.
Yeah, bald is it's important detail. It's an
But
important detail.
so we hear this, we're all shocked, and then after a while we go back to eating. Silence in the store, and once again the conversation picks up between some of the hostesses, and I just hear, "Yeah, I've got to get her ready." Now, once again, we've just heard, "Yeah, I like to be choked," and then they've got to clean my
Did
windows afterwards. And then, like, not long after that, it's, "Yeah, I got to get her ready." I just, huh, huh.
Yeah, and I mean loud. Like it's not like we're like eavesdropping. I mean like we were loud enough where we weren't talking to each other at all, and we were focusing purely on our plates. And it was like they were right behind us. Like I mean, they're loud with it, so there was no like hiding it, you know.
And so
And
after all of this, the waitress comes back. The waitress comes back. You know, she's been on top of our drinks, on top of our drinks, on top of our drinks this entire time. And she comes back and she's asking everybody, does anybody want like one last drink before they go? Maybe a to-go cup. And she looks at my mom and goes, "Would you like another water?" Now my mom looks at her and specifically says, "No, I do not want another water. If I drink it, I'll be up all night using the bathroom." And I don't
now,
think the
did you see
waitress
her face?
is
Yeah.
I don't think the waitress comprehended that somebody could be up all night drinking water or something, because she just
No,
gave like the
she was
meanest
not.
blank stare I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
I mean, just completely like, what do you mean? Like, just staring at because of course she just, oh no, no thank you. Because now we're all like purposely not making eye contact, and so after that whole awkwardness of her just like standing there, I mean, she was probably there for a good 8-10 seconds of just like just
Hovering
baffled
over my mom's
that
shoulder.
yeah, baffled that she said no to more drinks. Then, and so we all had our cups on the table, right? And like I said, my girlfriend had like 3 Dr. Peppers still out there. And so what we did is we put all of our cups in front of Nick in hopes that she would ask him if he wants more liquid, because what liquid would she say? Because she's,
Because in
it's
front
always
of
like,
me
do you
was,
want more blank?
yeah, whatever you were drinking or whatever
Yeah.
liquids in front of you. But in front of me was water, chocolate milk, Mountain Dew, Sprite, 4 Dr. Peppers, another milk, Like there was easily 10 glasses, all of various different liquids in front of me. And she came, and the best part is, after my mom told her no, like I don't want another water, she brings her another water and sets it down like right in front of her, like just in case.
Dude,
And then she asks the table, does anybody want any more drinks? And I just point, like I use both of my hands to like motion to like the 8 to 10 empty cups in front of me, and I just go, I'm good. Like I just point to like the various liquids, and I was like, I think I've had enough.
And so when your mom said no to the drink, and then brought it out, of course we were losing it. Like at this point, because of course you can call us dicks, whatever. We were making fun of it. We were making fun of what's happening, and just the sheer like what the hell is going on. And before she brought the cup out, we were like we were eating, finishing it up, and I heard this nasty wet ass fart from over the wall, and it made me stop. I was like, was that a fart? And I looked at my girlfriend, and she's like, you heard that too, right? I'm like, yeah, was that a fart? And literally right when I said that for like a third time, she came out, dropped off the water. The table's in shambles. I mean, we were just fucking dying laughing.
It was like 4 different things that all happened simultaneously.
So fast.
Because with her bringing the water, the wet fart, my dad's facial expression to her bringing the water cracks me up every time. Like my dad was sitting there kind of making fun of like the fact that my mom was saying no and like she wasn't comprehending it. And then she brought it out, but my dad is like writing. My dad's signing the check, and so he looks over and just immediately starts losing his mind. So there was like a combination of like 3 or 4 things, all that happened simultaneously, and the table just lost it. I mean, Shelby's laughing because of the wet fart. I'm laughing because of my dad's facial expression. My dad and mom are laughing because the water was brought. And my girlfriend's sitting there laughing at me because I'm laughing at my dad's expression.
Well, and I also think she had like the best viewing point because she could see your dad, your mom, she could see the waitress, she could see you, she could hear me and my like. I mean, I'm interested to talk to her about this whole experience and truly go in depth with it with her. And so, of course, his dad starts signing the check. Super slow in hopes of her coming back. And when she comes by, and for whatever reason, no idea, she gives his dad a damn to-go cup of Mountain Dew. Dude, that thing's like the size of a radiator. That thing was huge.
She didn't ask if you wanted one. She didn't ask if like you wanted another drink or a to-go cup. She just brought it, unprecedented, while he's like taking forever to sign his name, and like it was so funny, and especially because towards the end, my mom is sitting there, and after like he wants to sign both copies because he wants to take as much time as humanly possible. And so he's signing his name for a good 2 minutes. And eventually my mom looks at him and goes, "Oh my God, do you not know what to tip her?" She thought he was like thinking of what to like give her as a tip. And
I did too.
To see him slowly writing his signature. And she immediately like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this. I'm leaving."
And what's awesome about it is your dad kept it so cool. Because I was even thinking the same thing. Like, why are we still here? Like what's going on? And I looked down and I see. Oh no, he was. No, he was. I saw him. I just didn't know what he was laughing about. I thought he was laughing about what was going on. I didn't know he was laughing because he's taken 4 hours to sign the damn check. So he starts laughing, and it's one of those laughs like it's kind of like when you get in trouble in class for laughing, which is automatically funny. So you're trying not to laugh. It's like one of those where he's trying so hard to keep on the inside and quiet, that like you just see his shoulders moving and like he's laughing. He's internally laughing so hard that his letters are getting thrown off, even if he's taken so long because he's laughing that much and shaking the pen. And so your mom's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this. We're leaving." And like when she said, "Oh my god," he like slapped his arm. Like, no, we're not doing this. And gets up, and we just automatically. I mean, we're dying for what happened. We're dying at your dad and all that, and I mean, just just ridiculous. Out in the parking lot, of course, we're like, "What just happened? What just fucking happened?"
From
We're so
start
confused
to
and
end,
lost.
from start to end, it was just one big fever dream, and it was
Well,
hilarious.
and dude, it was like 2 hours long. Like it took forever for us to get our food. So it just primed us up for just having a blast
And
because of how long we're together.
the other people in the restaurant definitely thought that we were drunk because of how much we were laughing. Like, we were slap happy
Oh, dude,
because
we were
of what was going
being
on. And
reckless.
so we were
Yeah.
loud laughing. I mean, we're sober. And we're not
Mm-hmm.
drunk. We're just, because of everything that's going on, everybody else must have thought that we were drunk or something.
I thought we were drunk for a little bit. Like I know we didn't have a taste of liquor, but it's like, what is happening to us?
Oh, it was just priceless from beginning to end.
Dude, it was a trip. So if you're I didn't catch your name, but if you're listening to this for whatever reason and you're in our town working at the IHOP and you served us, thank you so much for making a what? Probably about a 30-minute discussion on a podcast you don't know exists.
We're making a 30
So,
a night, a whole family's night.
oh, dude, a night that we will be talking about for
A
years to
long
come.
time. A long time.
Yeah. Well, hell, is there anything else you want to add?
Well, it's
I think we did
about
pretty good about.
47 minutes into the podcast. And,
Hell yeah.
you know, we promote ourselves as a sports podcast. Or at least we try to.
Try to. Yeah, try
So
to.
we should probably start getting into some sports if we're going to want to continue to say that we're a
Right.
sports
How
podcast.
else? Yeah. How else is Peyton Manning supposed to know about this podcast if we aren't talking about sports?
Exactly. So, to kick off the actual sports section of the All Snap podcast, we are going to start off with, of course, today's date, Tuesday, April 30th, because how else are you supposed to know how relevant the information is? And we're going to start it off with the NFL draft. The NFL draft happened last weekend, took place on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, thoughts and opinions about that on my end. The first, I'd say, 4 draft picks went according to plan. You know,
Yep.
Caleb Williams, the consensus number 1 overall pick, he went number 1. The Commanders took Jaden Daniels, mobile quarterback out of LSU. Number 3, the Patriots took Drake May, quarterback.
I like that fit in. I don't know. I just feel like he'd be a good Patriots guy, especially with the culture change of Belichick not being there anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm interested to see how they kind of do that, but I think they got a good level quarterback.
Well, like I said, it went the way that the draft was supposed to go, but I still agree with all of those picks. Obviously, Caleb Williams was the consensus number 1 overall pick for months. I mean, there was a bit chatter at like Super Bowl or shortly after or whatnot about like maybe Drake May or maybe Jaden Daniels, but no, Caleb Williams remained up top, and I think that's the right pick.
Yeah, dude, and he's embracing the Chicago.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I love that. I love that for him. Like, because he's going into not the worst dumpster fire in the league,
Not anymore,
but I
at
mean,
least.
yeah, no joke. But at least, one that hasn't had a lot of success in recent years. So there's going to be some culture change and whatnot. But yeah, he's really embracing it and like taking on his personality, which is good to see.
Yes. And so Caleb Williams went first overall. I like Jaden Daniels going to the Commanders because Jaden Williams spent a lot of time, or not Williams, what am I saying? Jaden Daniels spent a lot of time in college.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was throwing passes to Brandon Ayuk, who's been in the NFL and on the 49ers for about 4 years. So Jaden Daniels, he's been in college for a decent time, been able to kind of mature. And he's been in college since 2019. And so to kind of go
Jesus.
there, yeah. And so to kind of mature throughout and, being a mobile quarterback and whatnot, I think that's the right pick for the Commanders who recently I said sired because it's a mixture between signed and hired. They recently signed and hired Dan Quinn, a defensive-minded head coach. So I think getting a mobile quarterback who might be more mature than a lot of like the freshman or sophomore or whatnot. I mean, he did win the Heisman as well, and to put him in a system who now has Austin Eckler at running back and Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson and a bunch of playmakers essentially around him. I think that was a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Drake May is a really good fit looking from the outside in to the Patriots.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying he's supposed to be the next Josh Allen, which I don't know how we're supposed to get a next Josh Allen if Josh Allen is still in the league.
Right. I don't know that, and I know we talked about it before, but I just hate the comparisons.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, they can be completely different. So
Yeah. But so I think that's a good sign because once again, you get Gerard Mayo, who kind of knows that Patriots organization, and now he gets, his quarterback of the future if he wants. He gets a couple years to kind of build up, get like a relationship with his quarterback and whatnot. And it's not like people are expecting the Patriots to come out and be a playoff team because of this pick. Like he's gonna have some years to actually build and whatnot.
right, and I just hope that New England, the Boston area, can give the Patriots time because like when you look at the Celtics, they don't really have that time to kind of rebuild, recoup, and all that. It's very like go, 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 and kind of thing like that. So hopefully they give them enough time to actually mature and just figure things out. I mean, very rarely do you see a team that has a new coach and does instant success like that.
Yeah. I mean, the most recent being D'Amico Ryans from the Texans, but like you said, after that, like it's been some years since
I wouldn't say.
rookie
I
head
mean,
coach has made the playoffs.
I mean, we've had who was I think he used to be a coach for USC, but he was a new Arizona Cardinal coach last
Cliff
year. Like
Kingsbury.
Kingsbury. I mean, he gave probably the most unhyping speech I've ever had in my life.
That's
With
not.
the
Last year
no, is that not
was
him?
no. He was the USC coach that turned into the Cardinals head coach. But the one that you're talking about last year was Jonathan Gannon, I believe. It was one of the Eagles coordinators. The defensive coordinator went there. I'm pretty sure it
Was it
was
okay?
Jonathan Gannon. Because are you talking
Oh,
about the
okay. I'm
one
getting
who's
my
like,
people mixed up. Raise your hand if any of you took the bus here.
yeah,
No one rose his. Yeah, okay. I got the two mixed up.
yeah, it's Jonathan Gannon. Yeah, I was correct. Yeah, he's the
What a
one.
what a mess.
He was the one that was like, raise your hand if you. I want the ones who rode the bus. I want those people. Those people are dogs. But he said it
Yeah,
like,
as if he's not talking to NFL players.
but he's like, I want those people. I want those people with that drive. Those people are gonna succeed on my team. Just no emotion. It was great.
Yeah, homie can't even motivate me to hit water when I fall out of a boat.
But so Drake May goes third to the Patriots. I think that'll be good. If they give him time. If Marvin Harrison Marvin Harrison Jr. Joins Jonathan Gannon's team and the Arizona Cardinals.
Hell yeah.
And then to kind of round out the top five, the most questionable pick of the top five was the Los Angeles Chargers selecting Joe Alt. Obviously, throughout the offseason, the Chargers have done nothing but lose people. They lost Keenan Allen, they lost Mike Williams, they lost Austin Eckler. And so a lot of people were thinking that the Chargers really needed to take one of these top prospects. But instead, they went with Joe Alt, tackle from Notre Dame. And personally, after thinking about it, now I'm going to be honest, at first glance, I was like, what? But
Honestly, I don't hate the pick at all. Really, I like it.
I don't either, especially because of what we're seeing from like Detroit, how they picked like Penei Sewell with a top 10 pick and how well he's kind of worked out, and you just getting Justin Herbert more help to keep him upright is never going to be a bad thing,
Well, and I mean that team. I don't know how much times I saw I saw Herbert. I mean, get crushed like that, like the choir concert or the choir student we were going to do. I mean, constantly defenders are just slamming their helmets straight into the dude's ribs. I mean, it seems like he's always out for injury because of some internal bleeding or something. So
internal
I
bleeding,
think,
broken fingers from hands getting shoved into face masks.
dude, yeah, Herbert's a damn dog. But I think Herbert's good enough, and I think Harbaugh is a good enough football mind to kind of make the odds and ends of the
Well,
skill position work. Not
was
saying good, but work.
that was
If he
my
has
other
time.
thought as well. Is that I do think Harbaugh is gifted, but like if you look at the Harbaugh teams, he starts with the lines, offensive line and defensive line.
I would say
Essentially,
Niners always had a good line when he was there.
Niners had a good line, and look at Michigan. Michigan had the best offensive line in the country for college football, and they won a national championship because of it. And that was
Mm-hmm.
due to like Harbaugh. So this was a John Harbaugh pick, Jim Harbaugh pick. This was a Jim Harbaugh pick.
Is it Jim?
Yes, because John is on the Ravens.
I would refer to him as Harbaugh, and I hope the audience knows I'm talking.
It is a J Harbaugh pick.
Yeah. It is someone with like kind of squinty face,
But
real like angry looking chin.
But that like at first you think, but like they also went out and they got wide receivers later in the draft as well. So like the Joe Alt pick was a Harbaugh pick, but it wasn't. It was a good pick.
Yeah, especially because I mean the dude's a mammoth.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Like and there's a lot of success with the Eagles with Jordan Mailata. There's a lot of success with who's the guy who always wears the damn hoodie under his suit. He's on the football panel with Richard Sherman and all them. He was a he won a champion Whitworth or something.
Oh yeah, Andrew Whitworth. Yeah, you're right, Andrew
Yeah,
Whitworth.
that's a mammoth of a man too, and so I feel like, and he was tackle, right?
Yes.
Okay, the big tackles like that can move and all that. That's very active with hands. I mean, you look at all the edge rushers, DNs, linebackers, where the hell. Um, I mean, you have some absolute athletes there.
Yeah,
So
and
I think
especially,
having a good one.
and now you have a very good tackle in Rashawn Slater on one side, and another supposed to be very good tackle in Joe Alt on the other side. That was also a big thing. Is that now you have a great tackle and someone who's supposed to be a great tackle, so that kind of really helps.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Herbert, giving him, the ability to make plays. Because I mean, as soon as you get the ball, you have three people. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're Mahomes or Tom Brady or what. I mean, if if you can't have the ball longer than a second and a half, you're not going to be successful.
And so those are the top 5 picks from the draft and our thoughts in them. We won't go through each and every person through the first round. But essentially, I just kind of wanted to wrap up with the most confusing pick of the top 10. Because I believe with pick 6,
I think it was 7.
pick 7 maybe, the Atlanta Falcons had the pick. And this is the Atlanta Falcons team that has Drake London at wide receiver, that has Bijan Robinson at running back, Kyle Pitts. They just signed Kirk Cousins to a big deal. And then they go out and they get Michael Penix Jr. Which, wow. I mean, once again, this is a team that just went out and signed Kirk Cousins to 4 years. It'd be different if you'd sit there and say, well, maybe Kirk Cousins,
Like a 1-year deal or
to
something.
a 1 or 2 year deal, exactly. And let Michael Penix sit behind him and whatnot. But the Kirk Cousins contract, I'm trying to look it up to get the exact specifics, so that way I don't give out false information and whatnot. They signed Kirk Cousins to 4 years, $180 million. And then
It's even worse when you say like.
And so, having drafted the quarterback, you'd figure that you'd want to draft a quarterback later on when you don't have a quarterback already lined up for the next 4 years.
But nope, apparently they had other plans.
Exactly. Apparently, I mean, I'm not in the Falcons' war room, so who knows? And I guess I'm not in there for a reason. So, Michael Penix, you're going to be sitting on the bench for 4 years. Have fun.
Or they're going to be paying shitload of money to someone that's going to be off the bench.
Or they're going to be paying $180 million to run second squad.
Yeah, dude, that's because you said 4 years, right?
Yep,
4-year deal.
years.
That's $45 million a year.
Yep.
For a quarterback that may get benched second year.
I did see a lot of memes saying that oh, this Michael Penix draft pick works out perfectly. You just have Kirk Cousins play all of the noon games on Sunday and Michael Penix play all of the primetime games, and they'll win.
Dude, that would be insane. If let's say Kirko gets hurt, he plays a noon game, he sucks. It's the exact opposite.
It would be hilarious.
That'd be big brain, dude. That's maybe accuse him of time traveling, big brain.
So other than that, so the Falcons had the most confusing pick. Some players went up, some players dropped. J.J. McCarthy went to the Vikings, and no Vikings fan is happy about that. Bo Nix went 12th to the Denver Broncos, and Sean Payton actually went on the Pat McAfee show live during the draft after they had made the Bo Nix play, or the Bo Nix draft pick. Was very excited about that, so hopefully Broncos fans are more excited than the Vikings fans are.
Right. I guess Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah, it is. It is major backlash from the Skull community. Nobody is liking the J.J. McCarthy pick.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that you should have stayed away. That's like second, third round. It's like, fuck, he's still here. Like, what? Especially because, I mean, your backup's, Pasternak, and he's good for 2-3 games. And no?
Nope. The Pasternak got signed to a different team. Pasternak
Which team is he on?
is now a current resident of San Francisco.
Huh. So they ain't got no one up there.
Yep. And that's what, because, yeah, he got signed to the 49ers about a month ago. It was during that whole flurry where you couldn't really keep up with everybody who got signed. Is when all the second string D tackles and fourth string wide receivers, and then obviously second string quarterbacks and stuff like that.
That makes
Funny
sense.
enough, he got signed, I think, a week or two after Sam Darnold got signed.
Love it.
So yeah, the Vikings really have nobody in there. I mean, I said, what team signed Zach Wilson?
Broncos.
You're right, the Broncos did. I mean, it's a fight for them too. Which team has the worst quarterback?
It's a fight for second string.
It's a fight for whoever can keep their job as riding the bench.
That's crazy. I don't know. I feel like Bo Nix has more, he's older, yeah. But, we've seen plenty of quarterbacks that kind of extended their careers and all that. And obviously Broncos win right mode.
Yeah.
Granted, they probably should have picked someone that isn't their star player, but, or star position, but whatever. But, I don't know. I feel like Bo Nix, I mean, coming out of Oregon, I think him and Justin Herbert play together. So, I mean, Herbert worked out, so hopefully Nix could too.
True. I think you're right.
Which is funny because I'm pretty sure if they did play together, that means Bo Nix lost his starting role to Herbert and then got it back for 6 years straight.
And then to kind of wrap up this whole segment of the NFL draft, kind of went over the top 5. We don't want to go through each and every draft pick. Obviously, that would take about 4 years, and my computer battery would die by then.
Mm-hmm.
But I did kind of want to get your thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks drafting a defensive tackle in the first round.
I think that's good. I mean, as much as I don't like, I mean, Geno signed for some draft, of course. That, and I mean, by the time they had a pick, I don't remember what number they were, but obviously all the big ones were taken off the board. So I think it's kind of like a we'll see what happens kind of guy.
Yeah.
And our defense, I mean, we can't
16.
stop a 16.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't stop a damn nosebleed. So I think that's a good pick to get a defender, a line. I also saw that they're still in talks with Jamal Adams. Which Jamal Adams isn't a bad player if he wasn't making damn money. So maybe if they can negotiate that, paying him what he's worth, would be better off. But yeah, I just feel like the Seahawks are just in this constant state of limbo But with Carroll gone, maybe it's okay to tank for a little bit and build up some stuff, make it where us 12s are having fun again and not just watching our favorite, you know, players and all that just dwindle down to old men like Tyler Lockett.
I will say, Byron Murphy II, D tackle out of Texas. That's a big boy. That's a big boy, and
Yeah.
he's a good one to have in the middle if you're gonna have someone. I mean, the Seahawks already have a player who resembles a 4x4, as I like to call it.
Yeah, no
I don't
joke.
remember his
Number
name.
99, I think.
I think you're right.
Because I remember, I want to say it was Seahawks versus, yeah, it was on Thanksgiving when they played. And you're like, who the hell is that? I was like, I don't know, dude. This dude's huge. He's like a damn bobcat out there. Didn't do much, but he's big.
Yes. I'm trying to look up his name. I'm trying to figure this out because it's that you put him out there, nobody's running up the middle. And so for him and Byron Murphy to kind of be paired up together, it might be it's Jonathan Hankins. Yep, there it is. Number
He
97,
got a
Jonathan
Hankins for a
Hankins.
burger.
6'3", 325 pounds.
That's crazy, dude. That's so big.
Yeah. And so to have him and Byron Murphy, I think your run defense will be
Right. We better go to a
easily better.
4-3 because God knows they can't run on the sides.
And then, last but not least, at pick number 31 was the San Francisco 49ers, who drafted Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. This pick kind of scares me. Not for the fact of, like, I'm not worried about Ricky. I think Ricky has a good skill set. I looked up some highlights from his college days, as one does whenever he gets drafted to the team that you like. He has some catches out there. He has some pretty good catches. But the reason this scares me is why are we going wide receiver? This is we're in
Yeah.
contract talks with Brandon Ayuk right now. I know Jawan Jennings may leave or is entering a contract year. There's just a lot of things going on where it's like the players I already know and love. What's going on back there?
Yeah, and the thing is Ayuk is, in my opinion, easily top 5 receiver in the league, and you have so much money in Kittle and uh, Joey Bosa, as Romo would say,
Nick
and
Bosa, as he's
McCaffrey,
known as.
also known as. So,
Yeah,
you have
Bosa
so much
is.
money tied up in them. It's like,
Well,
where
that's
what do we do?
the problem with Brandon Ayuk is that obviously he wants to get paid, but the 49ers have so much money tied up in other players. I mean, like you said, Bosa, Warner, Tarvarius Ward, Kittle, Trent Williams, Debo. I literally think the only person that doesn't get paid big bucks is Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
I think that's
Yeah.
literally the only person, and so like it's kind of the thing where like everybody's getting paid. So how are we gonna scrounge up enough money? Because Ayuk has came out and publicly said that he wants to stay with the 49ers, but at the same time he understands his worth, which is as much as it pains me to say, that's fair. But yeah, so drafting a wide receiver doesn't scare me to the point to where like I think he's gonna be a bust because I saw some highlights, some clips. I think under Kyle Shanahan, anybody can flourish as well. But
Yep.
drafting wide receivers whenever other wide receivers are kind of entering contract talks and whatnot, that scares me.
Yeah, big time. I mean, hopefully, AU stays, but one would see, I guess. We'll wait till probably about preseason to see what's going on.
And obviously, the draft is longer than one round. We get that. We understand the draft is more than 32 picks. I mean, there's 7 rounds and whatnot. So there's other players that will shine, some players that will turn out to be busts. However, me and Shelby do not have time to talk about all 7 rounds. So we figured round one will suffice.
Yep.
Obviously, we'll see what players turn out. Will there be another Puka Nakua who gets drafted in the 5th round and then, turns out to be a top 5 wide receiver in the league and break all these rookie records? Who knows? But
Yeah,
that'll
one
have
would
to
see.
wait until late August, early September.
hmm So let's get into some damn NBA,
Some
baby.
damn NBA. Once again, today is Tuesday, April 30th. We are towards the end of round number one. Some big storylines coming out. Nuggets unable to break out the broom, but they did win their series.
But still got it done, baby.
Gets it done in 5. A lot of people were making fun of the Nuggets on game 4 in game 4 because they were warming up and doing shoot around in slides. And so the Nuggets, to counteract that, I say the Nuggets, but I saw a clip of Nikola Jokic in like full gear and whatnot, full warm up gear, doing a full sprint coming out of the tunnel for layup lines. Now this is also a Nikola Jokic sprint, so it wasn't as fast as one would assume, but it was
I
still
would say it
funny to
wasn't
see.
no 4-4, but
But it was still funny seeing Nikola Jokic full sprinting down a court for a layup line. So the Nuggets get it
right.
done in 5. A lot of people are saying that this will be LeBron James's last game as a Laker. Thoughts?
I don't think so. I think LeBron's to the point in his career where he doesn't want because it can end at any second. I mean, he has a big ass house over there. His son used to go to USC, I guess. So maybe he goes somewhere else and does that. But he just has so much ties to Hollywood. It seems like he's doing more and more movies, and obviously being in California, I don't see him moving as a Laker. I can see him getting AD out of there for someone, but I don't see him moving.
I don't think I would see him moving AD. I think I would see him moving Tori and Prince, moving Rui Hachimura, removing maybe D'Angelo Russell, who, those 3 role players were kind of the ones that, instead of playing basketball, just let down their pants and took a dump on the court, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
But so
I don't know.
I am with you in the fact that I don't see LeBron James, especially. The only thing that I could see is if he really wants to go to the team that drafts Bronny James. That's the only way I see him
Yeah,
moving teams. But like I said, I don't see him moving as a Laker.
yeah. That I just don't really know what a piece like that to that magnitude of LeBron that's in a championship race.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the Lakers is such a big market that is a big draw to go there. So it's like because he, his first year there he missed the playoffs, so there's not like they were dogging people then. But unless someone wants to really team up with all them, like he's gonna if he wants to win and wants enough to move out of LA, he's gonna take a contender or something. I don't see him going to the Mavericks or something crazy like that. So
A
I
lot
think
of
he's gonna
people are
stay
shooting
put.
for Golden State.
Man, no.
Hoping for it. I'm not saying he's going there, but a lot of people on TikTok are hoping that he goes to Golden State.
Right.
But so, yes, the Nuggets move on. They will be facing the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were able to break out the brooms.
Sweep, 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 sweep.
Yeah, and they swept the Phoenix Suns. You know, that Suns super team with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant. And something came up that I thought was very interesting is that Kevin Durant has not been able to get out of the second round since he left Golden State. So,
Okay.
that begs the question, Shelby, do you think Kevin Durant could be a number one option on a championship team still?
Um, hmm. I don't I don't think so. And it's not because it's because he's a good player, not a good something like that. I think it's just something more in the background. Um, I think he's a bad teammate. I mean, he goes from saying, "Oh, the league is, should be scared of what we do." Oh yeah, we're flowing now when he's talking about Booker and Beal. And then in the playoffs, it's like I just never synced with Booker. And to me, as a Thunder fan, that sounds very familiar. I mean, KD and Russ was a duo that's literally one of the best duos in history. You know, I'm not saying they are the best, but it to me, you can't bring up an argument that doesn't prove that they're one of the best. Um, and then he didn't have the heart to tell Russ that he was going or anything like that. So I think he's just a bad teammate. I think there's too much drama that comes with him. I mean, anymore, it's like he's one of the greatest scorers of all time, but you can't really act like that when it comes to a court, and have success. Like, Curry, yeah, we know and this is a bad example of a success, but he knows what he can do, but he also doesn't go out and shoot 40 times. Like he's one of the best contested shot makers in history, but a lot of them aren't super contested because he still plays like a team player. Where if you look at KD, there's a lot of contested shots, and that's his game, yes. But as your number one, you kind of want someone that's not a ball stopper or something like that. And I just feel like he needs a specific team. I mean, if you look at the Thunder, I mean, they were, super young, but they were really good in defense and all that. But it was just them. It was just Russ and KD essentially, like outside of the final run. But that's just them being too young. But when you go to Golden State, they were already successful, so they had the infrastructure there to support a big star like that. Where when he goes to the Nets and gets Kyrie, the world's in trouble, da 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 da, and then what? Nothing. This is almost the exact same thing. Then they got James Harden, two of the greatest scorers of all time, the best ball handler. Like, oh, this is gonna be great, and then they never showed up. Oh man, he's playing with Devin Booker and didn't show. It's just I feel like he needs this super super specific ass team that is just not around anymore. Because you're not going to get a 73-9 Warriors team to go to. So what's your thoughts on it?
I had the same answer as you, but different reasoning.
Oh,
Because
okay, interesting. Bring it up.
I don't think that he can be a number one team or a number one
Mm-hmm.
on a contending team. Because like of time, because of where the league is at right now, we're not seeing all of these super teams winning. We're not seeing back in the league with 2012 to like 2016 and whatnot, where big threes ran the league. We're not seeing that anymore. And to get Kevin Durant on your team, essentially, you need to have a big three because of his mindset.
Yep.
And a lot of the reasons why he won't have a championship team is because whenever you get Kevin Durant and you get other stars to help bring in Kevin Durant, you take away depth. And right now we're seeing a league that you need depth to win a championship. That it's not. I mean, you need a superstar. Don't get me wrong, but three superstars aren't going to be able to keep up with, you know, 8, 10 players who are all going out there and putting in contributing minutes to the team and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And because
I
that
don't
was the
know. I
big
just
reason with why the Nets didn't work out, and now that's a big reason because the Nets didn't work out because they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Bucks.
And that was the Bucks team that won the championship because they had Giannis and Chris Middleton and all of these other players that contributed. I mean, Drew Holiday, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis.
Mm-hmm.
That's just to name like the first 6 on the top of my head. They also had like Dante DiVincenzo who put in contributing minutes and stuff like that. So we're starting to see more depth. And even in the Western Conference this year, we're starting to see with like the Minnesota Timberwolves where they have Anthony Edwards, but they're also having Mike Conley put in contributing minutes, and Rudy Gobert's doing good now, and Karl Anthony Towns is being a good secondary scorer to Anthony Edwards, and nasty Nas Reed coming in for potentially 6th man of the year. He didn't get 6th man of the year, but I believe he was second in votes.
He should have got it, but
And
yeah.
you're seeing Nikhil Alexander come in and just stuff like that. You're seeing depth come in and players come in and contributing, and 3 big
So,
time players can only play so much.
and it almost in the, same church, different pew here, where I think a thing is too is that there's so much good talent coming into the league because
Mm-hmm.
basketball is evolving so much within the last 5, 6 years that because think about it, the Thunder are #1 seed. They're what the second youngest team in the league.
They
Anthony
are
Edwards,
well.
crazy young.
Not only are they the second youngest team in the league, but they are the youngest team in NBA history to win a playoff series.
Yeah, yeah, and you look at all these teams, they're young. I mean, you look at the Lakers, they're old, they missed out. You look at the Warriors, they're old, they missed out. The Knicks, they're young. The Bucks, other than Dame, they're kind of. And honestly, they're probably going to lose to the Pacers, which
As I
is
say, when Pacers young
it's
team.
stupid young. Yeah, honestly, they might be younger than the damn Thunder. So, I mean, you have all these young people because the draft pool is just so insanely deep that because what do you do to get a top caliber player such as KD? You trade your young promising star and
As I
draft
say,
picks.
draft
They
picks,
traded
young
Mikal
promising
Bridges.
star, and money essentially. Because yeah, like you
Yeah,
said,
and
Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson.
I was gonna say, in my eyes, do I want one player that can put up 30 points? And yes, he's a damn good player. Or do I want two players that Mikal Bridges was putting up 25 when he got traded over there? And then you have Cam Jordan or Johnson that's putting up a good 3-and-D player. Like it's I just always felt like the Heat is such a special case where you're lucky you have Chris Bosh, who is one of the most like okay, as long as you most team oriented guys, as long as you guys win like of all time, and it just you don't have that anymore. Have that Bosh who's willing to go from you know damn near MVP as a Raptor to like third, sometimes even fourth string
Well,
or
that's what I was.
scoring.
Because I was about to say Chris Bosh is the most non-egotistical player. Because I also feel like that's a big part of NBA as well. When you get that high up, when you start to form and like you're hearing everybody in the media, and you start to form your own ego, and why should I step back? It should be my team instead of his team, and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, and like with the whole Kyrie, like I think Kyrie is okay with being a Batman, but he has to have a very special, or being the Robin, sorry, he has to have a very special Batman. I mean, you look at LeBron. LeBron's a very much, you know, can be passed first on this drive or can go down like a freight train on the other. Then you look at Luca, almost the exact same thing. Instead of driving athletic ability, it's insane insane passing and shooting. It's like a almost like a new style of LeBron. Where with KD, he's a very much oh, I'm gonna back you down in the post and take a fadeaway jumper and shit like that. It just doesn't click with him. With James Harden is very very egotistical. I don't care what anyone says, but as everyone knows, I have beef with James Harden.
You and my dad, actually.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's the beard, huh?
it's funny enough, it is the beard.
I knew it, dude.
I'm a Clippers
I
fan,
knew
as
it.
I've said many times on this podcast. So what do? I go down and visit my parents, but I'm a Clippers fan. It's playoffs time. I want to see the Clippers in the playoffs. So what do? I try to, take control of the TV when I can, and I put on the Clippers games. But what does that mean? That means that my dad then critiques every little thing about the Clippers because of how like involved I am with it. And I find it funny. It's not something that I get mad at. I find it genuinely funny. But it's that like he'll like make fun of and he'll critique, and then he saw like it wasn't even a frame of James Harden. I think it was like Russell Westbrook, and then James Harden walked behind, and he was sitting there and he was like, "Wow, look at oh my God, what is that? What is that facial hair?" And I was
What the
like,
hell is even that?
and I think I was getting a snack at some point or whatnot, because like I wasn't looking at the TV, and so I even knew, and I was like, "You saw James Harden, didn't you?" And he goes, "No, what I saw was a bird's nest on someone's chin." And I was like, "Yeah, you saw James
Yeah,
Harden."
that's James
And so
Harden.
just from that moment on, because I think I saw like two games, maybe three up there. And just from that moment, I saw two games up there, and from that moment on, it was just, I cannot believe you like a team that has that beard on it. Oh my God, I could not imagine defending him.
Yeah, that shit stinks,
It
probably.
was hilarious. But
That's awesome.
so,
Just goes back to your dad being accidentally funny.
but so in that series, the Clippers facing the Mavericks, that's at 2-2 apiece. That's a nervous sigh. So
Yeah,
nervous about that freaking. Kawhi Leonard's already been ruled out for Game 5, and I'm so nervous.
yeah,
Paul George absolutely lit up the first half of Game 4. Essentially won us the game in the first half, and then almost lost us the game in the second half. Because we were riding his hot hand in the first half, and then didn't change anything. And so in the third quarter, when he cooled off and the law of averages took over, we saw a 31-point lead turn into a tie ball game, and even the Mavericks led at one point. And then prime James Harden came back. And prime James Harden essentially willed the victory for the Clippers. Because, I mean, Kyrie was on an absolute spectacle. Luka Doncic didn't have the best game, but he was, still making shots. I'm so unbelievably nervous about this series.
dude, it's a tough match, especially round one. I mean, it's tough.
Clippers they do get home court advantage, but like I said, Kawhi Leonard already ruled out for Game 5 tomorrow. Oh, love it. Love being a Clippers fan. The 3-6
Mm-hmm.
matchup we already talked about. The 2-7 matchup we already talked about. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, I kind of sprinkled in a stat there during the Kevin Durant talk, where Oklahoma City Thunder become the first team or the youngest team in NBA history to win a playoff series, and they break out the broom and sweep the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans did not have Zion Williamson, and CJ McCollum was not good. Brandon Ingram was terrible, and the Thunder move on. I mean, the Thunder
Love to
really,
see it.
and the Thunder played team basketball. I mean, it really, you can put down each of their 4 wins to different people if you really wanted to. Game 1 was Chet. I wasn't able to watch Game 2. Game 2 or 3 was probably Shea. Game 4 was Jalen Williams, the small forward.
Yeah.
And it was that, like, it wasn't necessarily one player dominant. Like, Jalen Williams had like 24 points in game 4, and Shea had like 22 or something like that. And they played team basketball. It's how you would want basketball to be played. And I mean, that's why the Thunder coach won Coach of the Year.
Dude, I love the Thunder's starting to remind me a lot of a young hip Spurs in the fact that like, they have the very consistent guy being Tim Duncan or Shea. They have the great secondary like guy in Chet and Manu Ginobili or Kawhi Leonard or just insert guy here, and then to have just a very solid, or I'm sorry, Jen Williams as the very second option. You have a Chet who's just always solid. Is comparison to Tony Parker, like he's just always going to. And
Lou Dort is just a defensive guru.
fuck,
I was
Lou
watching
Dort is
some of
my
the
favorite player
I was
on that
watching some
on
of
that
the
team.
possessions where Lou Dort was guarding Brandon Ingram, and he just defensive masterclass Brandon Ingram.
Well, dude, they don't call it the torture chamber for no reason.
And then, like you said, Shea, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort. I mean, Josh Giddey is, like we've said, it'll be the slowest left-handed layup, but he'll go out there and get you a 10, 10, and 10 on any given night.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah, dude,
Chet
that's
has come out and shown that length is defensive masterclass as well. I mean, 5 blocks in game number 1, and the game-winning block essentially in game number 1 as well. It is funny
yeah.
hearing some of the media come out and say that, like, the Oklahoma City Thunder is the weakest number 1 seed that we've had in a long time. But I think that is more due to how stacked the Western Conference is than the actual Oklahoma City Thunder talent.
I think it's because they have to poke fun somewhere, or they have to poke holes in some. I mean, it's the
Probably.
weakest, really. It's the weakest one out of all the years. Out of all the years where there's plumbers in the league, or some dumb shit like that, the Thunder is the weakest. Okay. How about the Rockets who missed like 37 straight 3-pointers? Is that the weakest? It's just that's the thing about media, and that's why I hope. I know I said this before, but I'm not. That's where I hope you come into play, where it's just like everything. You have to be negative to get clicks, and
That's
it's
what we're here for.
ridiculous. I mean, there's
Both of
exactly.
us are
We enjoy
positive.
good football. We
Yeah,
enjoy good basketball. We
exactly.
enjoy we enjoy good IHOP experiences.
Exactly.
It's just like it's just dumb. It's just so dumb because instead of being like, yeah, the Thunder, they really turned around. They were like a play-in. I think they were playing last year and lost. Now they're the 1 seed. Instead of it being like a storyline as if like they're on the up and up, it's always like, oh, Shea's upset. They're the weakest. It's just that's dumb. There are always going to be problems with because he has success. There always has to be problems. You know, even the Patriots. the Patriots having the most dominant run that we've seen, at least I've seen for sure in my life. And they're still like, oh, Tom Brady, is only good because it's only good. It's constant hate.
So going from one seed to that may or may not have problems to another one seed who definitely has problems now. The Boston Celtics are up 3-1 against the Miami Heat. However, Kristaps Porzingis went down with an injury that will sideline him for multiple games, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. And so that's kind of a big hit. However, due to that, Derek White had 38 points, so who knows what I'm talking about. So
Right.
the Celtics up 3-1 against the Heat. The only reason why the Heat even took a game is because they shot like 50 or 60% from the 3-point line in game 2. So that one shocked the world, but I still think Celtics in 5. For the 2-7 matchup, that game actually finished maybe 15 minutes ago. Game 5 finished maybe 15 minutes ago between the Knicks and the 76ers. And what a series that entire series is.
Mm-hmm.
So game 2, we had it to where the 76ers blew a 6-point lead, correct?
Here, let me check as you're talking.
It was a 6-point lead with like 30 seconds left. So what do the 76ers do? Well, the 76ers create a 6-point comeback of their own within maybe 45 seconds, I believe it was, 43 seconds. 76ers down by down by 6. Tyrese Maxey has the ball, pump fakes, gets the defenders in the air, gets the foul, drains a 3. 4-point play. 76ers only down by 2. Knicks have the ball. They try to waste some time. Josh Hart gets fouled. Josh Hart at the free throw line misses the first free throw. Ooh. Big miss there from the Knicks. Makes the second one. Still a 3-point game. Tyrese Maxey comes down, shoots a 35-foot 3 with like 10 seconds left. Terrible shot. Drills it. Ties the game with like 8 seconds left. The Knicks, Jalen Brunson tries to recreate Jamal Murray, takes the one-on-one matchup against Joel Embiid, pops up for a mid-range shot. However, Joel Embiid does a better job than Anthony Davis does and sends the ball into the second row of the stands. So we go to overtime. Battery is running low, so we're going to have to wrap this up fast. Goes into overtime. 76ers win. That series is 3-2. The 3-6 matchup, that game is going on right now, where the Pacers have a 3-1 series lead. Damian Lillard and Giannis are out for the Milwaukee Bucks, and the 4-5 series is 2-2 right now. However, with little time left in the fourth quarter, it's only a 2-point ball game. Thoughts on any of the series, Shelby?
I think the Bucks are cooked. Other than that, I think that's about it.
Bucks are cooked. Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers series is getting real interesting. As I said, I will be sweating over the Clippers Mavericks. Please join me in doing it, or please send thoughts and prayers my way, as I will probably lose 5 pounds over this series. And yeah, I believe that does it for us here. Any last thoughts?
No, I think that sums it up.
Well, we appreciate each and every one of you for listening to us ramble. We understand that this episode is a little longer, but that's because we just had to tell you about our fever dream IHOP experience. So Once again, we appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day listening to us. Make sure you hit the like button. Comment any takes that you had, or comment any takes that you thought were good. Comment any takes that you think were bad. And yeah, once again, today's date is Tuesday, April 30th. This has been the Next Average Podcast, the Shelby Nick Average Podcast, or as we like to call it, Aw Snap. Thank you all for listening. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want more, and we will catch you all next week.
Bye-bye.